By the media over his appearance on this channel 4 years ago. Robert Kinsell has been accused of having a cosy relationship with RT and bolstering our online presence. Nikki Aaron has more.
Well, it would appear that the New York Times has been sifting through its archives and it's earmarked the year 2013. Now, you might remember that 2013 was a pretty good year for RT. That was the year that we became the first news network to surpass 1 billion views on YouTube. And so we decided to mark the occasion. We invited a guest in from YouTube, and that happened to be Robert Kinsell, who was the YouTube vice president at the time.
I think what users generally appreciate is authenticity. It's very apparent from everything that's going on YouTube. So instead of having aspirational programming or agenda and propagandas, people really respond to authenticity. What you saw happening with Arab Spring, for instance, it was authentic. The audience that watches this loves authenticity, and they bond with those who provide it to them.
Now, 4 years later, and RT is the most watched news network on YouTube. We now have over 5 billion views, but to some people, our success is very suspicious. And so the fact that the New York Times has decided to single out Robert Kinsell appears to be an attempt to name and shame him for ever appearing on RT. But this isn't the first time we've seen this done. Think back to the UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson not so long ago, shaming members of the opposition party for appearing as guests on RT, despite the fact that even members of his own party and even his own father have also appeared as guests on some of RT's shows. And then there's a European think tank going to all the trouble to make a list of every single person who's ever appeared on RT and branding them useful idiots.
Many people in Europe and the US, including politicians and other persons of influence, continue to exhibit troubling naivety about RT's political agenda. These useful idiots remain oblivious to RT's intentions and boost its legitimacy by granting interviews on its shows and newscasts.
And I'm sorry to say that all the effort that went into that list, it wasn't even factually correct.
No, it wasn't. I remember something about Boris Johnson too. So generally speaking, though, Nikki, where is all this pressure on Russia coming from?
Well, all this stems from these unproven accusations that RT played a hand in swaying the American vote. We somehow managed to convince American people to vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. And as a result, just last month, the US Justice Department demanded that our US-based channel, RT America, register under the Foreign Agents Act, and after which Moscow has said it just simply can't rule out tit-for-tat measures anymore. As RT faces all of this increasing pressure, we've chosen to deal with it in the best way that we can. We've come up with a new ad campaign in which we thought people would find it amusing and ironic. We make light of these accusations. We say, tune in to find out who we're going to hack next. But quite predictably, even our sense of humour has come under scrutiny.
Nikki Aaron going through the story with Andrew Farmer a little earlier there. Well, let's try and delve a little bit deeper into this, because Matteo Bergamini from Shout Out UK, an independent youth news platform, joins us live on the programme, and we are glad you have, Matteo. There we have it. RT's popularity online is now essentially being attributed to good relations with YouTube's top management. Your take on that?
I mean, it's almost becoming, I mean, I shouldn't say almost becoming, it is a witch hunt, really. It's a witch hunt for anybody that has any relationship with anything to do with Russia, or anything Russian, it seems. You know, the fact that RT, because they were successful on YouTube, is somehow in bed with YouTube and therefore Google is, I mean, it's just madness. Like, you're chucking out accusations without any real evidence whatsoever, just because he appeared on an interview however many years ago. It just seems bizarre.
Well, that point about how many years ago is a good one, because the YouTube exec, he's being scrutinised, as you say, for his appearance 4 years ago. So you can imagine perhaps RT is being scrutinised maybe through 2017, 2016, 2015, down to 2014, and now this is what they pick out. Why are they going so far back, do you think?
I think they had to go that far back to dig up anything of relevance, you know, because I don't know if he's appeared since. I don't know if he's ever spoken well of RT outside of RT, but I think that's the only real connection they could find. And obviously they had to attribute something on, with regards to RT's success on YouTube, they had to attribute it to some form of, you know, either collaboration or weird dealings, because they couldn't just accept that RT's doing well because they're providing people content that people will watch.
Just in your country, the UK's Foreign Secretary recently slammed opposition MPs, the Labour Party, for appearing on RT, even though Boris Johnson's father had appeared not so long ago. Is this a new trend of demonisation of anyone they oppose, really?
I think it's definitely not a new trend. I think it's been going on for quite some time. It's just never been directly tailored at RT. I mean, I think opposition or MPs in general, or even campaign groups, they've used the idea of, oh, you can't appear on that news platform because it's got opposing views, as a way of almost targeting certain media groups that don't report on their own ideals or their own beliefs in the same way. I mean, every media network under the sun, private or state-run, will have some sort of bias in some way, because journalists are human beings. It's just natural. Western media has biases like everybody else. But singling them out because of that is for me, very, very dangerous and quite worrying, because you start to target media networks and try to blacklist them in the public's opinion.
Just in 30 seconds, Matteo, do you see a threat on freedom of journalism happening over the last recent times?
I'd definitely say it's more so, mainly sort of based on, RT's accusation, the accusations against RT about being a propaganda machine and this constant stuff around Russia influencing the US elections. I think it's trying to put pressure on the more grander scale of foreign journalists working in the UK or in the Western world. I definitely think it's worrying, because anytime the media gets challenged in such a way without any evidence, it's a worrying conclusion.
Matteo Bergamini from Shout Out UK.